It is Wednesday afternoon, and therefore it is Baldy and The Blonde. I am Michelle Godin here in the WGSO studios, where we are every Wednesday. Well, I am every Wednesday at 4. Tom is never to be in the same place by, I don't know, from week to week. Where are you today, Tom?
I'm in North Carolina today.
There you go. So we had a little interesting event this afternoon in New Orleans, which is kind of weird given what the Orange Man said about sending in the troops. Because on Bonneville on I-10 at Bonneville, which is an exit, there was a drive-by shooting or some sort of shooting of a person who was a passenger in a vehicle. I could not get to my office because it is in an area that was sort of around there. But apparently they had shut everything down. I guess looking for the criminal. So that brings into sharp relief the offer by President Trump to do for New Orleans what he has done for D.C. So I say we go ahead and roll that clip. Kobe, clip number, Tom, the Trump clip?
Yeah, you know what? It has a weird number. It's 5.1.
It's 5.1. It says
I think it's just this morning at a press conference at the White House.
He happened to say that before before the shooting happened. And, you know, the difference, well, we'll talk about the difference between New Orleans and, say Chicago after we play the clip. You got it? Yeah, let's roll.
We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago or do we go to a place like New Orleans where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice...
Aw, what happened?
I don't know.
Oh, man. He had said a very nice city. It has a tough problem or something like that. And so we'll just let it go. I don't know. Sometimes when things start off techno difficulties, they just kind of, the glitches mount. So anyway, you want to play it again?
Don't put the Gregory on us.
No Gregory, baby. Get rid of it. All right. You want to try it again? All right. Let's roll it again.
We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago or do we go to a place like New Orleans where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad. So we're going to be going to maybe Louisiana. And you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks. Easier than D.C. But we could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us.
I love that.
So I'm wondering, did he mention New Orleans because it's bad or because Landry is asking him to come in?
So we don't know, right? I mean, we don't know. We don't know. But here's what I like about it. First of all, I like that he knows how to say New Orleans. That's good.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, no New Orleans and all this stuff. Also that, he didn't trash the city. He just, things are kind of tough, which it looks to me like D.C. was a lot worse than we were, right? And just the show of force seems to have been enough to, at least for the time being, to scare away some of the hoodlums, right? And I think we could possibly benefit from that now. The difference between, of course, Chicago and New Orleans is Chicago doesn't want it because,
that's a whole different question when they're not asking for it.
Really different question. And there's as we know, a law called posse comitatus, been around since the 1800s, in order to avoid having a national police state, which, imagine Biden being able to send in the cops or Obama who knew what he was doing. I wouldn't like that either. But if the governor asks for help, well, then that's totally legit, and that then makes it legal under the laws of the United States. So because we have Governor Landry and he would like to make New Orleans safer, I think it could happen. And I think New Orleans might be easier than some other cities. I don't know.
Yeah, my guess is that Trump brought it up because Landry is asking about it. I doubt that he he singled out New Orleans because it's singularly bad.
Oh, yeah, no question. Because, I mean, New Orleans is in the top 20. You know, I'm sure everybody sees constantly this is a little fight on all social media. The lefties say, oh, isn't it funny? All the bad cities are in red states. Failing to mention that it's a blue city, all
Yeah,
of
right.
them
Yeah.
in a red state, every single one of them. So we are always in the top 20, usually in the top 15. So yeah, I agree with you. He probably didn't just focus on New Orleans. Maybe Governor Landry asked him, and hopefully somebody in the press will ask that question, but maybe not. We'll see. So anyway, I think that's interesting, and I don't know anything else about the shooting on the interstate except that traffic was insane. And you haven't heard anything else, huh, Tom? I just found that one
There's
story.
no details yet. It's still preliminary. I mean, there might be now, but I've been busy, getting ready for the show and not checking online for updates. So maybe there's some updates now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just checked. Well, anyway, so you wanted to also talk about a possible emergency declaration. It's not related to crime. Is this a good time to do that?
It is. And what's so interesting, it's just another example of the federal government coming in with a so-called solution after being the cause of the problem. The root of the
Always.
Always. And I know that these guys are well intended, but they just don't know what the problem is and therefore can't possibly know the solution if they haven't identified the problem. So Scott, how does he say his name?
Bessent.
Bessent.
Or Bessent, yeah.
Yeah, he said that in the fall they're considering, Trump considering declaring an emergency regarding home ownership and home prices because home prices are so high. Well, if you have just one eye open, it's obvious that home prices have skyrocketed over the last few years because since 2020 and COVID, they created untold trillions of dollars of new money. Well, at some point, that trickles down, not to, to use an old phrase, into the economy. Well, when that new money is, in this case, flooding into the economy faster than houses are being built, obviously housing prices and the prices of anything else that's not being built fast, they're going to go up.
Yeah.
But so there's an article about this. I'm not going to bother reading any excerpts just because all of the excerpts, their solutions are all the same. There's quotes from a bunch of people with all these solutions, and they all address one thing: is supply of houses. The federal government has to figure out a way to get more houses.
Can you imagine? Oh my
get the
God!
states out of the way.
Please help me from. Right?
The solution is obviously curb the Fed, if not end the Fed. I mean, they're never going to do that, but at least it could be part of the conversation. Like one of these guys should at least say, oh, I see what's going on. There's way more money in the economy than there was a few years ago. So obviously prices are, they can't even say that. And they interviewed several so-called high-end, highly educated economists that either know the score and are afraid to say it, or are just so stupid they don't know the score.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. And, brings up Ronald Reagan's famous quote, very scary, the 9 most scary words in the English language. Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And this is a perfect time to play a very relevant, go ahead, let's hit number 9, right, Tom? Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah, this is great.
To protect our phony baloney job, gentlemen, we must do something about this immediately. Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy. Give the governor harumph.
Harumph.
That's the harumph scene from Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
And that's what these guys are doing. They're protecting their phony baloney jobs and harumphing.
That's
and
it.
Just doing all kinds of stuff that's not going to fix the problem.
Imagine if they did not have the ability, because, maybe we have new listeners that don't know what the Federal Reserve is, but it's basically the government when they want money. They don't have to come to us and say, hey, do y'all want to have your taxes raised to go, help Tiny Dancer in Ukraine? No. They just print money. It's their ATM. And it's called the Federal Reserve Bank, and it is neither federal and it has no reserves, right? So it is the root of all of our difficulties. And so speaking of comedy, we are about to come up on a break in 45 seconds, Tom. And when we get back, we're going to talk about whether or not you're safe going to England if you've been making politically incorrect jokes in America. It may be that You know, when
Let
J.D.
me
Vance, yeah.
Let me catch you up. Aren't we doing that the fourth segment?
Well,
We'll do it whenever you want. I just thought we wanted to do it on the fourth segment.
I did, but then I thought Blazing Saddles was a good
Okay.
tie-in.
All right, well,
I was just speaking of comedy, so that's really why I did it, and that's because Tom's not here. He can't know what I'm thinking. You know,
I never know what you're thinking.
he's in North Carolina. All right, we'll see you on the other side. This is Baldy and the Blonde, baldyandtheblonde.com. All of our old shows are there. And welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde here every Wednesday at 4. And following up on that commercial that just let us in, we are Soros Free Radio. Right here in New Orleans, we have a competitor that is owned lock, stock, and barrel by Soros, and then there's us. Clearly, we would not make the Soros cut. Am I correct?
I don't think so.
I don't think he'd like us. No, I don't think so. But anyway, moving on, we are going to save the comedy thing till the last segment because it's a little bit shorter and we have a lot of clips to play about our friends at the CDC, those people who loved us so much they locked us down, put us in, masks for no reason, 6 foot distancing, grandma's dying alone in the hospital,
Closed schools.
closed businesses. Don't forget the businesses.
But they said they didn't mandate anything. They only made recommendations.
Oh, that's what they say now. Yeah.
That's what they say now. Yeah.
Oh no, it was just a suggestion. Meanwhile, people getting arrested
Right.
in a canoe in the ocean by themselves. Because I kayak in the ocean by themselves. And if you were Walmart, you were open. If you were a mom and pop's shop, you went out of business. So the whole thing was a complete freak show, and the CDC has never apologized. So of course we hate them, all right? And American people are sick to death of them, but they're all crying now because they have Bobby Kennedy is telling them what to do and they don't like it. In fact, Tom, right before we came on the air, I saw that 1,000 HHS workers wrote letters calling for Bobby's resignation.
Well, they should just write their own resignation letters.
Wouldn't that be better? Out of 93 to 75,000 employees, they found 1,000. So there you go.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Well, yeah, good riddance. So, yeah, let them go. But you know what? The CDC is not only not apologizing, they're doubling down.
doubling down, baby. Come on, babies need shots. And the guy we're going to play the clips from is how do you say his name? Dmitry Daskalaskis or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, this creep, you might remember, was heavily featured as, the voice of the CDC. And he was, this is no nice way to say it, he is disgusting. He appeared on magazine covers with his shirt open with a leather pentagram thing on his chest, like a leather strap device, which is usually associated with, there's no nice way to say it. So I won't. Anyway, pentagram, a satanic imprint on his chest covered with other weird tattoos, and just an all-around creep. Anyway, let's listen to him on clip number 7, whining about the CDC's now being transformed into a weapon. What, Tom?
But before you play, listen to the words he's saying is exactly what a Make America Healthy Again person would have said during COVID. He would have said the exact same thing. It's very curious.
Huh, okay.
Listen to it.
I am seeing CDC being transformed into a weapon where people are not allowed to share scientific data, and that scientific data is potentially going to be contaminated more and more with ideology. I could no longer be party to seeing the transformation of my brilliant scientists into something that could potentially hurt children.
You're right.
That is absolutely word for word what a Maha person could have said during COVID.
Can you do it off the cuff? For like what?
No, I'm saying that you could take his very quote and just put those words into somebody's mouth, and you would think that it would all make sense.
Yes, because the CDC was transformed into an ideological, political thing against the American people during COVID. So
yeah, and things that could potentially hurt children. He said all of it,
and did hurt children who were deprived of education for 2 years.
Sure.
Yeah. Just the whole, when you look back at that, I cannot believe that Americans were so scared of a cold because I'm just going to say I did not go along with any of it. I refused. I would not comply, and neither did you, Tom. So we're not talking like, with the ivory tower that retrospect brings. We, in the moment, knew this is we are not doing this.
Not doing it.
And just the fact that people could not, like all these people had to drive by their mama's nursing home and wave at them through the windows. It's just disgusting. I mean, it really, and it was all bull. It was, and they knew it. And
Yeah, of course they knew it.
Yeah, it's
And now they say it's being weaponized. Like,
right now it's to give people a choice. Nobody's taking away. If you want to get 42 vaccines, go get them. God bless you. Go get them. But nobody should be told they must have a vaccine passport to go to a restaurant or to work. Imagine to go to, and I can remember this stupid restaurant where we wore our mask to the table, then took it off. And I was like, I looked at my friends who had, it was somebody's birthday, and I went and, I'm not doing it. It's just beyond ridiculous. So, all right, let's roll with another beautiful clip from this man. Would you like to introduce this one? Same guy, Mr. Pentagram.
It's actually part of the same quote. I just split it into because it kind of switches gears.
Okay.
But it's just absurd. I guess he says the CDC should be and could be about love. Anyway, let's play number 8.
Vomit. Number 8, please, Kobe.
People that they're seeing in those images that you're playing right now are the people who do everything with such enthusiasm and so much love. So as people, try to dehumanize public health workers through mis and disinformation, those images are burned in my mind as something that really reminds me just how much CDC should be and could be about love.
Okay.
Yeah, not about science and health and disease control maybe. It's in your name.
We don't need your love. Your love. And it sounds like a Valley girl. What is he? I mean, Dr. Dimitri Demon. I mean, what is wrong with this dude? So, no, thanks, but we don't need our love coming from a government office that is the Center for Disease Control. Thank you. We can get our love the normal way. Like, people we are intimate with. Yes, sir.
There's another clip I want to make sure we get in before the break because it is horrifically, it's fantastic, but because it's horrific. This is a guy, I don't know, how does he say his name?
Josef Wittdering. Yeah, he's German.
No, this is Amesh Adalja.
Ah, okay. Number 6.
This was a couple of days ago on NBC, right? Number 6. And he's basically, this is why I say that CDC and all of these experts, they're just doubling down on COVID. Everybody, all these little 2-year-olds and below should get their shots. Pregnant women should get shots.
Okay.
Everybody should get shots. Here we go. Number 6.
Thank you.
Confusion around the COVID vaccine. As a doctor, please straighten it out for us.
And this is the absolute worst case scenario because no one knows who should get a vaccine. No one knows who to trust. Anybody has any high risk condition, they should be getting the new vaccine when it's available. If you are a parent of a child and that child is less than 2 years of age and they have no risk factors for severe disease, even without any risk factors for severe disease, as you just heard, there is a high rate of hospitalizations. Those children should get vaccinated. And lastly, I would say pregnant women all need to be vaccinated with each pregnancy.
This is 2025. Where is he getting his data?
I mean, definitely not from anything that I've seen, because you can find study after study that says, first of all, there is no benefit to a child. None.
High rate of hospitalizations for kids under
For kids,
24 months?
they couldn't find one child that died of COVID other than children who already had cancer or something like that. But no, this is just,
And all pregnant women
Yeah.
need to be vaccinated with each pregnancy.
His middle name is Pfizer, I would imagine.
His middle name is Beelzebub.
Beelzebub. Yeah, it's just incredible. And speaking of crazy medical info, when we come back, we're going to talk about something that kind of crosses the bounds between the craziness at the CDC and the Minnesota shooter, which is there is something that all shooters have in common, pretty much of the school shooters, which is the use of SSRI drugs. And we will have some clips and discussion about that when we come back on the flip side. This is Baldy and the Blonde at baldyandtheblonde.com, where all of our shows are archived.
Hey, New Orleans, Baldy and the Blonde are back. I'm Tom Coates, remote from North Carolina. Michelle Godin is live in... Of course she's live. Why am I saying live? Of course she's live in studio. Michelle, you live?
Look, or it could be like Trump, where he doesn't post for like an hour, and it goes all over the internet that he's dead.
Yeah, right.
He's dead.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah.
And yet Biden, who disappeared like a corpse, they never suggested
never
that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Crazy.
Yeah. So where did we leave off? We left off with
We were talking about children getting vaccinated and women for each and every pregnancy.
each and every pregnancy.
Yes, by
and
our
all
friends at the
kids under age.
CDC who should be all about love.
And again, by the way, that clip was just a few days ago. That
Is
was
that
not like
right?
a 3-year-old clip. It was a 2-day-old clip.
Right? It
There's
sounds like
still-
2020. Good.
Yeah, it came right out of 2020.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Anyway, so we're going to switch gears here and go to a very interesting interview that was done on the Tucker Carlson podcast last week. I think it was it was on the 29th. Was that Friday? Whenever that was.
Yeah.
And this is a guy, I'm not sure how he says his name, Joseph Daring. He is a board certified psychiatrist, and he's a leading expert in psychiatric drug side effects and withdrawal. And his mission is actually to help people get off of these psychiatric meds. And so Tucker had him on to talk about just the widespread use of these things, their dangers, their side effects, that sort of thing. And it's a little bit longer clip than usual, a little over a minute, but I want you to listen. He talks about how it's very rare. And now he's not just talking about SSRIs.
Right.
He's talking about basically just psychiatric drugs in general. And he's going to talk about how with some patients, these things have the opposite effect. It can be very, very rare. He said even sometimes if it could be like just a 1 in 2 million side effect. But his point is if when you're prescribing drugs to such a huge percentage, well, he's estimated about 15% of the population.
That's a
But
lot
even if
of
it's 1 in
people.
2 million side effect, he says but every year you're going to have a couple of people who have homicidal tendencies because you're prescribing it to so many. Yeah, it's extremely rare, but you're prescribing it to so many. So anyway, Kobe, that is clip 4. We'll listen to that. Michelle, if you want to stop it and comment and restart, feel free because it's 72 seconds long.
Okay, go ahead.
Increase in school shootings almost precisely coincides with this massive increase in the prescription of these drugs. Is anyone studying this?
It's actually really hard to study. I don't think drugs are involved in all the school shootings. I do think there is a social contagion element to it. If you look at the side effects of all of these medications, it's already in the label. If you look at stimulants, right there it says it can cause aggression and hostility. If you look at antipsychotics like Abilify, in the label it says it can cause aggression. If you look at the antidepressants, it also says it can cause mania and aggression and agitation. What these things are paradoxical side effects. And maybe an easy way to think about it is if there were 10 people in a room and they were smoking cannabis, you might have 9 people giggling and you have one person becoming paranoid. There's something just about that person's genetics and the way they respond to it that they have the opposite reaction. And so that can happen with psychiatric medications. These are rare side effects. If you're putting 15% of the population on these drugs, rare side effects are going to happen. Even if this is a 1 in 2 million type side effect, that's still happening a couple times a year that people are becoming homicidal on these medications. You just can't say it. It's taboo.
That last little clip was interesting. That his quote was, "You can't discuss it. It's taboo."
Well, and as we know, the mind control freaks are out there, the thought control, the censorship freaks that don't want people to talk about anything that harms the cash cow that is the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, and you know what, too? I read an interesting thing a while ago about the pharmaceuticals and how much they advertise with the networks, right? It's not good, and they have to. They can't advertise to the doctor, so they advertise to the consumer. But nobody is going to their doctor to ask about these. So why are they placing the ads? It's so they can control the message. It has nothing to do with a return on their investment for selling these things, because that's not happening.
No.
But they do get to control what is said and what is not said on the network.
And then your doctor is the last person on earth, no offense, but most doctors know little to nothing about nutrition or pharmaceuticals. If you want to know about pharmaceuticals, you're probably a lot better off doing your own research and asking the pharmacist, because they just don't. And they give out, like, let's say they have a choice between two drugs for osteoporosis. I mean, I know this for a fact. I have friends that were pharmaceutical reps. the pharmaceutical rep visits the doctor with pizzas and donuts, and they get a few minutes of a doctor's time. They send the doctors to the Bahamas to make a presentation on the drug. So your doctor doesn't know anything. But anyway, when the guy on the clip said, 10 to 15% of the country, well, that is 33 to 48 million people. That's a lot of people. And to have just a few of them, at higher risk for school shootings is a problem. And like I said, it's not that all people on this are going to react that way. But the fact is that, at least to the extent I'm able to discern the truth, that all of the school shooters have been on SSRIs. Yeah, so that's an issue.
Yeah, and I think that's been the case for a long time. And honestly, I don't remember the source for that, but I do remember reading, and it seemed well sourced at the time.
Yes,
I don't have that in front of me.
Same here, and I should have double checked it, and maybe I will, but I believe that is true. And I think it goes all the way back to Columbine. So I think it's been a long time.
True. Yeah.
So anyway, but the school shooter is not really getting the coverage that it should. Just like to say, as a Catholic, that I have yet to see one bishop come out and call this out for what it really is, which is an obviously demonic attack on children at a mass. And I believe that that's because demons recognize as fallen angels where Jesus is, and that would be in the Eucharist at Mass. And our bishops instead, as always, the lefty bishops, and most of them are leftist bishops, are talking about guns. So
exactly,
nothing
about
the
conversation always goes.
Nothing about that. This kid was obviously misled into he says in his crazy manifesto that he was brainwashed into the trans thing.
And that he regretted doing it.
And he regretted it. So, but that, of course, changing subjects a little bit doesn't stop Jake Tapper from apologizing for using the wrong pronouns. So let's listen, please, to clip number 1. Kobe.
Star Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was. Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was at one point Robert Paul Westman, but since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification.
Well, okay, so I have a different take on that.
Go for it.
It wasn't an apology. He was citing the Minneapolis Star Tribune, really correcting the record for the shooter's name and then preferred gender. But we shouldn't fault these guys for making that correction. You should want it out there that
this guy was a trans.
Yeah. Yes. So I don't fault Jake Tapper for. Now he did it. He didn't do it for the reason that I would have done it. He did it to be like apologetic, even though it really wasn't an apology. But he kind of stepped in it. They really should have just left well enough alone. But if they want to meet their typical narrative, but he really did. He did the truth a favor, which CNN is not in the habit of doing.
Yeah, by getting the fact out there that he is a person on hormones. Who knows where this person stood in the transition stage? Who knows if he was on what drugs, what physical mutilation? Who knows? But he regretted it, according to his manifesto.
NBC ran a similar type of correction. They ran an article about the shooter, and it was he, him, and I think they had the name right, but it was he, him. And then they ran a correction a day or two later saying, a previous version of this article used the wrong pronoun for the shooter. She used female pronouns. Yeah, but she also regretted it. They didn't say that part.
Right. Nothing. If somebody hadn't got a hold of that stuff and put it out right away, we would just like the Kentucky
just
girl.
like Nashville.
Yeah. Nashville. We 2.5, 3 years before they released it. All right, let's move in and hear another.
We got to hit Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, we got to hit Rosie O'Donnell. So let's go with clip number 2, because here's Rosie's considered opinion.
A church inside a Catholic school. And what do you know? It was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person. What do you know? White supremacist.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of evidence of that, Rosie. Please stay in Ireland, for God's sakes.
She quickly got bashed online and retracted it, and issued what she called an apology. But it's not. It's more of an accusation than an apology. Let's roll that. That is number 3.
Number 3, please.
A lot of you were very upset about the video I made before I went away for a few days. I didn't go online and haven't seen them till today. But you are right. Sure. I did not do my due diligence before I made that emotional statement. I said things about the shooter that were incorrect. I assumed, like most shooters, they followed a standard MO and had standard feelings of NRA-loving kind of gun people.
Listen
the truth is, I messed up, and when you mess up, you fess up. I'm sorry. This is my apology video, and I hope it's enough.
It's not.
No, it's not. It wasn't
not enough.
That was worse than saying the first one. Like it was a white guy, Republican, MAGA person, white supremacist. That's what she first. Then in her so-called apology, well, I thought like most
shooters followed a standard MO and had standard feelings of NRA-loving gun people.
Like it's the normal thing. That's not true at all.
Not true at all. This guy was to the extent he had any sort of political leanings. Number one thing was he was trying to kill Jesus. Okay.
Oh no! I mean, it's not true that these are standard of other shooters.
No, it's not. Yeah, right, exactly. None of them have professed to be MAGA or NRA people. They're all crazy trans leftist. And this guy, I mean, this has hardly been reported at all, but he's got written on one of the magazines, "This is my body, take it and eat it." Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to hear it because we live in a communist society.
The statement is accurate as that other doctor we played in the last segment where he said,
all right, Tom, got to wrap it up.
Hospitalizations for 2-year-olds.
Yeah, right. With such a liar. All these liars. Okay, we're Baldy and the Blonde. We'll be right back after the break. BaldyandTheBlonde.com is our archive.
Hi, I'm Tom Coates by remote. By Michelle Godin in the WGSO studio. Together, we are the brilliant, hilarious team of
Humble.
Baldy and the Blonde.
Humble.
And humble.
Yes.
And great looking.
Faces for radio. Here we are.
Exactly. In fact, I have such a face for radio, I don't even go into the studio.
He's got to leave the state. Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So what we got going on now, Tom?
Well, let's see.
It's nothing but comedy over here.
Oh, yeah. This was an article I saw just yesterday, and this happened a couple days ago, I think. This is a comedy writer from Ireland, and I think he's famous over there. He's developed a couple of TV shows that are big hits. I'd never heard of him. His name is Graham
Linehan. Mm-hmm.
So he left the U.S. a little while ago, flying out of, I think, Phoenix or somewhere in Arizona. He landed at Heathrow in England and was immediately arrested by 5 officers. And his so-called crime, was making 3 posts on X that were described as gender critical. And then the cops there, the Metropolitan Police, they said that it was for inciting violence. Well, when you read the post, it was over 3 tweets. One of them, you could, if you were insane, could argue was inciting violence. The other 2 had nothing to do with that. So only one of 3. And it was obviously a joke. Basically what he was saying was, if you see a trans person who is a biological male in a women's space, raise a ruckus to get him out of there, because they're the ones who are committing the violence, and call the cops and punch him in the family jewels. He didn't say family jewels, but something. And obviously a joke. It's funny to say, to punch a woman in the family jewels.
Yeah.
In the male's family jewels. He's making a joke. Now, it's not exactly the funniest thing. He's a comedy writer, and sometimes you take a swing and it's not the funniest thing he ever wrote.
No pun intended.
It was an attempt at comedy, and obviously not inciting violence. Now, I did a little bit of research to see if, because his posts were made while he was in the U.S.
Right.
But he was British, but he's Irish. Okay, he's not a British citizen. But I did ask AI, and I didn't have a chance to research it in depth, that I, as an American, if I were to make similar posts and then travel to the UK, would I be at risk of being arrested? And at least the AI that I asked said yes, that you'd at least have that risk.
Absolutely, and that's why it caused quite a ruckus. But J.D. Vance went over to Europe a few months ago and said, what is going on with you people arresting people for speech? Because way back in the beginning of the show, in November or October, I forget, we covered the story of the mom who her child had been attacked, and she criticized the Muslims who attacked her child, and she is doing a 30-month jail sentence for what they call hate speech. And the minute you get into these categorizations of crimes as relating to what's in your mind other than what you did, I mean, the doors have been opened to just prosecute people as speech violators. So my concern, I mean, Tom, really, you and I, we cannot go to England safely. I wouldn't.
No, well, I mean, you do run that risk, apparently.
Right? And this guy was met by five cops.
Yeah. Okay. So, by the way, there was a huge outcry online, as you can imagine, because there was a lot of...
Actually, I'm surprised, because I think these people have laid down and let this happen. In Britain, it's been terrible.
Freedom lovers,
bunch of sissies.
But it's not like it takes a massive amount of people. It takes some seriously dedicated people dedicated to freedom of speech, to make these posts. So right before we went on the air, I was looking for an update, like immediately before we went on the air. And there is an update. In the BBC published an article with the headline, Met Chief, that's Metropolitan Police Chief. Met Chief calls for law change after Linehan arrest. So they're basically just looking for clarification. The cops need some better direction than just the guy sent out a mean tweet.
Well, there was five of them that thought they needed to go arrest this guy. While Muslims have run around with knives carving up little girls at dance studios, and
but they have a different, obviously, legal system there. So he has not even been charged.
Yeah,
he has been what they call. He's just been. Now I lost my notes.
Well, he was arrested by five cops for sure at the airport.
Charged.
That's here too. That is here. I am a lawyer, so I just just the audience that when you get arrested, it doesn't automatically lead to formal charges. Okay, the DA makes that decision. The cops arrest the DAs and whatever they call the solicitors in England. The people with the white wigs make those decisions.
Okay, so he's been. The article says he has been bailed under investigation and without charge. And the only stipulation, the only condition to his bail was he can't go on X.
In other words, he's been gagged in exchange for his freedom. So just can't talk. You're a writer, but you can't go on X. But
and apparently can't even go online and see what's being said. Can't go on X.
I mean, that is, I mean, but I think England is a disgrace, and I would be quite afraid to go. Basically, I think anywhere in Europe right now. They really are totalitarian, authoritarian, censorship gods, and I'm not into that, and I don't want to take that risk. Can you imagine being in a foreign country and, oh, look, we found your post about, God only knows who, because they can't talk about anything, so...
Yeah, right. And particularly Americans, when they go to Europe, they usually don't hit just one place. They'll go to a few countries. You might be arrested at every place you go, assuming
that's a problem, isn't it? I mean, I think England, you're at the most risk because we speak the same language, right? And it's easier to read our post. And who knows, now at the moment, our, president is not as authoritarian as the last group. But they put Tulsi Gabbard, an American hero, on a no-fly list because she questioned some of our foreign policy, and she had literally 7 people following her. Tulsi Gabbard. So, do I think that any American who has voiced opinions that are not PC, because Europe is just totally overrun by PC. I mean, you're at risk, I think, and I think it's a tourism problem for them. And I should have called the embassy the American embassy in England to ask them that. I just thought that's who we should have called.
Well,
let's try to do it before next week.
But, I just wonder, why are we such strong allies with these tyrants?
You're right. They're not friends of ours.
I mean, we fought a war to separate ourselves from them.
I hear you, Tom, and we're here every week advocating freedom. We are Baldy and the Blonde every Wednesday at 4